So Jeepers Creepers tells the story of a young brother and sister duo traveling across country when they are suddenly put into the sights of a supernatural being who begins to hunt them down. Alright guys, well I've finally seen Jeepers Creepers 3 after years of waiting, after all the controversy and setbacks this movie had in production, after the really strange release choices that they made with the one release date in theaters and releasing it on Sci-Fi Channel. Finally got a chance to see it, and I figured what better way to build up to it than to go over the entire Jeepers Creepers trilogy, starting with the classic, the best, the original Jeepers Creepers. And let me start off this review series by saying that I am more than aware of the controversy and the crime surrounding the director and the writer Victor Salva. That's not what this video is about. Please do not spam my comment section with all of the info regarding Victor Salva and asking me what my thoughts are on it and shaming me for watching this movie and all that other crap that everybody is just talking about whenever it comes down to Jeepers Creepers. I am here to talk about the art, not the artist. I'm here to discuss the movie, not the movie maker, so please keep the Victor Salva conversation out of this video. That is something for a different time. But with that being said, I love the hell out of the first Jeepers Creepers. This is one of my favorite horror movies of all time, definitely one of my favorite monster movies of all time, and for certain, one of my favorite horror movies to come out post-millennium. And I just love the shit out of everything about this movie. Such a huge surprise. I remember whenever this movie came out in 2001, I had no idea what it was about. I remember renting it, not knowing anything but the title. I put it on and I just went on this wild, blind ride that this movie takes you on. And that could not have been a better way to experience this movie, because this movie is a wild ride with tons of twists and turns and a mystery that unfolds that I cannot see anybody fully unfolding before the movie gets you there. Right from the opening scene, this movie just grabs you by the throat and does not let go. It starts off, it's quiet, everything seems normal, it's just a brother and sister driving down the highway, making fun of each other. All of a sudden, this scary-ass truck comes out of nowhere with this bone-chilling honk.
For that you would hurt me, Mr. Poly's-attracting guy. Turns out you're a twin
and about runs them off the road, and you feel like you are in the car because your heart just starts pumping. And from then on, this movie just goes in wild ass directions that you would never expect it to go. It goes from it being a road movie to a horror, maybe slasher type movie, to a full-on monster movie. So many genre mashups and so many really creative decisions in the storytelling of Jeepers Creepers that I'm forever thankful for. One of the reasons why this movie is so effective with its storytelling is that it just slowly peels back the onion layers of horror. As soon as you feel like you have seen the most dark and grim aspect of this storyline, you haven't seen shit yet, because right around the corner is something that even more terrifies you. You get the guy at the very beginning you don't even see, he's just cloaked up wearing his hat, tossing bodies down this hole. Right away you're like, oh fuck, get out of there, run. Then they go down into this hole, you see the Sistine Chapel of bodies everywhere, and you're thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Then all of a sudden the dude just starts coming out with all these different things that you think, there's no way that this guy is human. But they do a great job at making you believe that this is a real guy with supernatural powers, and slowly you get to see the Creeper come to life. And the Creeper is one of the greatest horror icons and greatest monsters to ever be put onto screen. Not only does the look of the Creeper just scream iconic in every single way that you see him, when he's cloaked, when he looks human, when he just starts to kind of show his bat wings and everything, whenever you see him in his full-on kind of archaic demonic form at the very end of this movie. Every single one of those looks is iconic. But then you get into the creativity as far as how they built this creeper, how they made their monster to where he eats body parts to regrow body parts that he's damaged or lost or that he likes. Like if he smells you and he smells your fear and he can tell that there's something in you, a body part that he wants to be part of him, like this part of this weird fucked up collection that he's got going on in his own goddamn body. It's just so creative and grim and wild and macabre that I love it. And you gotta give kudos to Jonathan Breck, who's the guy who's portrayed the creeper in all three of these movies, because he just totally brings such a life to this character with a silent performance. The dude never talks. It's all in his physicality. It's all in the way that he moves, the way that he sniffs, the way that he smiles, the way that his eyes glare at you. It takes a lot of talent to bring forth such a scary-ass character without uttering a single word or without really emoting anything aside from your body movements. And you gotta give the hats off to the guy, no matter what the controversy is, and like I said, I don't want to discuss the controversy here. The writing and the directing by Victor Salva is 100% the reason why this movie is damn good and iconic as it is, because the creativity in his writing, the way that he slowly kind of unfolds the mystery of who this creature is, the fact that it's even a creature and you don't realize it until like the third act, the way that he wrote the main characters, Trish and Derry, to be completely terrified and maniacal in the way that they kind of respond to this hell situation they're in while maintaining that brother and sister relationship all the way through to the ending of this movie, which is honestly just one of the most shocking and most iconic and best endings to any horror movie that I've ever seen in my life. It's just perfect execution. I mean, this movie leaves you feeling uneasy. It leaves you feeling scared. It leaves you feeling like this bitch is going to come and get you next. And that is exactly what a horror movie should do. You shouldn't leave a horror movie feeling happy and resolved and warm and toasty. You should leave a horror movie thinking, fuck, this dude's coming to get me next. So with all that being said, I mean, it's a shame. It's a total shame that the reality of Victor Salva is the reality of Victor Salva, because this movie proves that this guy is one hell of a mind for horror. He's a fantastic horror writer and he's a fantastic horror director whenever you give him something that he's passionate about and something that he can dive his creativity into, because Jeepers Creepers is 110% brilliant because of his execution of his writing and his directing. But not all the credit for this movie is going to Victor Salva, because our two leads, Justin Long and Gina Phillips, are awesome. These two totally feel like they are real brother and sister, and that is very hard. That is a hard relationship to fake on camera, because the way that their camaraderie is, the way that they kind of mess with each other and joke with each other and have these little games and everything, it is so seamless when you watch it. I swear, every time I see it, I cannot believe that these are actors. It looks like they just got two brother and sisters and put them in front of the camera and said, okay, Jeepers Creepers, action. You're laughing with these two characters when they're fucking with each other. You feel sympathetic towards them whenever they feel scared or whenever they're talking about not making it home, or, you know, things that they regret in their life, or the way that they treat their mom as far as bringing home laundry so that their mom can actually feel like she's needed again. All these real subtle, real life things that you can latch onto and kind of gravitate towards, because all of us have kind of had that relationship with a brother or a sister, or had that conversation with a brother or sister once or twice, all the way through to whenever this really starts to get rolling and the horror really starts to dive in, and you just feel like you really want these characters to make it through because you love both of them. Neither one of them are annoying, even though they make some stupid decisions. Neither one of them are those characters in horror movies where you just want them to die for how stupid they are. You want them to make it out of this situation. And this movie does not work if you do not have two leads that you want to survive.
Hit him, Trish. Hard. Do it!
Unfortunately, Gina Phillips, I haven't really seen shit from her since this movie came out. I don't know if that she just didn't quite latch into Hollywood the way that she deserved to with her performance in this movie, or maybe she's done a lot of things that I haven't seen, but it's a shame because she's great in this. Now, Justin Long obviously had a really good career and he's still kind of kicking with it, but it makes me question why he hasn't done more serious movies, because Justin Long is traditionally like a comedy guy. You very rarely, if ever, see him do anything serious like this, with the exception of Kevin Smith's Tusk, which is debatably serious. But he's really fucking good in this. It makes me think, Why aren't you doing more horror movies, dude? Why aren't you doing something serious? Because you're awesome at it. But even the side characters in this movie are really good. You get Giselle, who comes in the third act, who's kind of like the town psychic, which on paper sounds like that would be a huge jump the shark moment where a town psychic comes in and suddenly knows everything exposition-wise about why this creature exists and what it wants. But it works within the context of the movie, and she really ramps up the third act of this movie and gives it some new life towards the end of it. And I wish we could see that character again, to be honest with you. Even on the technical side, this movie is brilliant. The way that the cinematography is, especially whenever it involves anything regarding the creeper's hideout, the way that it's shot and just slowly kind of pans out, and the lighting and everything just brings it to life. It is unnerving, it is bone-chilling, and that's all due to the brilliance behind the camera. And I even love the way that they utilize the music in this movie. Now, of course, with the movie Jeepers Creepers, the other most iconic use of that word is the song Jeepers Creepers, and they have a very brilliant use of that song in this. And if I'm being honest, one of the flaws later on in this franchise in 2 and 3 is that they do not utilize that Jeepers Creepers song the way that this movie did so brilliantly. And that's not really this huge part of the movie. It's pretty insignificant as far as the scope of everything going on. It's just a small piece of the story, but it's such a cool aspect, and it's such a creepy aspect for a song that basically everybody knows that it just adds an extra layer of awesome to this movie. And the last thing that I want to commend this movie for is that I love the way that Jeepers Creepers utilizes its small scale and its small budget to its fullest potential. This movie does not feel like a low budget horror movie. It just feels like a small contained horror movie. The gore is there, but it's used creatively, it's shot creatively. They didn't have to get a ton of makeup effects to make it work. Even the way that the creeper is shot and the way that he's slowly unveiled throughout the movie and the way that you get to see him utilize some of his powers like the flying and everything, it's all through camera creativity, it's all through subtlety. And that is the way that a movie like this should be made, because, you know, you don't need a ton of CGI, you don't need hundreds of millions of dollars to make an effective movie. You just need good talent behind the camera and good talent as far as who is shooting that camera. With all that being said, guys, I love the hell out of Jeepers Creepers. I don't have any flaws for this movie. It's one of my favorite horror movies of all time. It's a shame that it kind of has this stain on it because of the director's controversy, and it's a shame that you can't really recommend it to people who haven't seen it before without them either finding out about who the director is or without you telling them that and kind of turning them off of the franchise altogether, because this is just a brilliant horror movie. Front to back, start to finish, brilliant. So if you're a fan of really effective horror, if you're a fan of monster movies, this is a must-watch. Jeepers Creepers is one of the greatest monster movies and horror movies of all time. Start to finish, you're going to be on the edge of your seat, so go out and buy it. So what is your guys' thoughts on Jeepers Creepers? Are you as big a fan of this movie as I am? Did you watch it when it first came out and got to see this whole mystery unfold blindly like I did? Or did you watch it later on after it was kind of known that this was a monster movie and you knew about the creeper and most of the mystery of this movie was already ruined for you? Put all of your thoughts on Jeepers Creepers and the franchise that I'm about to get into down in the comment section below, and we'll talk about it. Please like and share this video. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. If you want to check out my social media links, I got Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter down in the video description below, as well as the link to my Patreon page, which is a great way to give back to this channel and help this channel grow and succeed, while also getting awesome exclusive content for your eyes only if you decide to become a patron. And if you want to check out some more of my videos, guys, including the rest of this Jeepers Creepers review series, you can check it out by clicking right over here.